Pluto, once considered the ninth planet, resides in the Kuiper Belt, a region beyond Neptune filled with comets and rocky ice objects. Percival Lowell, an American astronomer, predicted Pluto's existence in 1905 due to odd anomalies in Neptune and Uranus's orbits. However, he passed away 15 years before its discovery. Clyde Tombaugh finally found Pluto in 1930. A young girl named Venetia Burney suggested its name, inspired by the Roman god of the underworld. Pluto, once a planet, was later reclassified as a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union in 2006. NASA's New Horizons mission, which explored Pluto in 2015, provided valuable data. Pluto's surface is cratered and covered with water, nitrogen, and methane ice. It has a subsurface ocean and a rocky interior. New Horizons also discovered Pluto's moon, Charon. Pluto's distant location results in a unique orbit that occasionally brings it closer to the Sun than Neptune. It takes around 250 years to orbit the Sun. Recent photographs reveal Pluto's diverse landscape, including icy mountains, canyons, and nitrogen glaciers. The Kuiper Belt, where Pluto resides, contains valuable clues about the solar system's history and planet formation. New Horizons continues to transmit data back to Earth, shedding light on these mysteries. The spacecraft will float into deep space when its plutonium power supply is depleted in the 2030s. Pluto is unique due to its vast distance from Earth, making it a challenging target for exploration. About 30 astronomical miles away from the Sun lies Pluto, which now holds the record for being the biggest dwarf planet in the entire solar system. This frosty, sluggish, and lifeless celestial object is small in size, but definitely not in importance. It's a fascinating world with blue skies, high mountains, and an array of violently spinning moons created by a big whack many centuries ago. Join us in this explosive video as we take a look at the recent discoveries that NASA made by observing the updated photos of this mysterious celestial object called Pluto. Far away in deep space, beyond the orbit of Neptune, is the Kuiper Belt, a distant region in the great abyss of space that houses Pluto. So far, Pluto is the only celestial object in the universe that has been classified both as a planet and a dwarf planet. As an ice-cold celestial body itself, Pluto dwells in the midst of other icy bodies and dwarf planets. It travels in a unique elongated orbit around the center of the solar system, completing a full rotation every 248 Earth years. Consequently, a day on this tiny ice world lasts for around 153 Earth hours, which is equivalent to about 6 Earth days. Pluto has a diameter of around 2,380 kilometers, 1,400 miles, which is quite small when compared to the massive planets, satellites, and other elements that exist beyond the common line. For perspective, Pluto's diameter is about half the width of the United States. Similarly, the dwarf planet is inferior to most of the objects in outer space in terms of mass. Data shows that Pluto weighs about 0.2% of Earth's mass, which is much smaller than the mass of other dwarf planets like Ceres. The origin of Pluto dates back to the 1900s when American astronomer Clyde Tombaugh discovered it on the 18th of February, 1930 while working at the Lowell Observatory. Back then, it was recognized as a planet, taking the total number of planets in our solar system to 9. However, in 2006, the International Astronomical Union, IAU, announced that the solar system would have one less planet because Pluto didn't meet the 3 criteria required for a space object to be regarded as a planet. But even as a dwarf planet, Pluto still remains close to the hearts of cosmic scientists. Pluto has one of the weirdest and longest orbital cycles in the universe. In fact, since its discovery, it has only passed its orbit perihelion once, which was in 1989. On that occasion, the dwarf planet was placed at a distance of 29.7 astronomical units away from the Sun. As expected, the distance has grown wider over the years, and it'll continue to do so until it gets to its peak value, specifically sometime around the year 2113. By then, Pluto is expected to be near its aphelion, which is about 49.4 astronomical units away from the Sun. Unlike bright giant worlds like Jupiter and Saturn, Pluto cannot be seen from our Earth with the naked human eye. Even sophisticated eyes of observatory gadgets like the Hubble Space Telescope struggle to catch a glimpse of the dwarf planet. This makes it quite difficult to understand what's going on within and around the dwarf planet. To address this issue, the world's most respected space agency, NASA, dispatched an unmanned space probe to Pluto in 2006. This high-tech probe is called New Horizons. At a maximum speed of 36,000 miles per hour, the New Horizons is regarded as one of the fastest spacecraft in the world. But the distance between Earth and Pluto is so massive that the space probe had to travel 9.5 years to arrive at its destination. During the journey, the New Horizons space probe sent us some beautiful pictures of Jupiter, as if to make up for the incredibly long wait we had to endure. Eventually, the spacecraft arrived at its destination in 2015, sending us over 6 gigabytes of data gathered across 400 observations. The data was so big it took over 135 days to transport it back to Earth. However, this data has been quite important in helping scientists to uncover some of the deep-lying secrets that exist underneath the icy surface of the dwarf planet. Pluto is blessed with a massive chasm that measures 1,700 kilometers in diameter, but this area contains different forms of ice and rocks. In addition, it is surrounded by an ice mantle estimated to be around 300 kilometers wide. Scientists suspect that some tectonic processes might be ongoing within this mantle, but subsequent studies will be required to validate those suspicions. Interestingly, some hypotheses believe Pluto is able to generate enough heat to melt some of the ice in its mantle. Underneath the dwarf planet is a salty, toxic ocean that supposedly contains huge amounts of ammonia. Meanwhile, surface temperatures are estimated to be around -243 degrees Celsius or -387 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme temperature is one of the reasons why the dwarf planet is unable to support life. While observing Pluto, the New Horizons spacecraft discovered a strange element called Tombaugh Regio in the equatorial zone of the dwarf planet. Pluto's nitrogen heart, due to its heart-shaped structure, the Tombaugh Regio has been described by scientists as Pluto's nitrogen heart. It spans an area that's equivalent to the size of Texas and Oklahoma. Just like our hearts regulate the processes of our bodies, Pluto's nitrogen heart regulates atmospheric circulation. This allows cosmic scientists to study the behavior of Pluto's atmosphere and possibly compare it to the atmospheric behavior of our Earth if they want to. The Tombaugh Regio is completely covered by nitrogen, which changes form depending on the dwarf planet's temperature. For instance, the nitrogen warms and turns into vapor during the day. In contrast, the vapor condenses and reverts back to ice at night. Scientists say each sequence is performed to look like a heartbeat that pumps nitrogen winds around the dwarf planet. There is a postulate that the rays of the sun could be responsible for this process, but the hypothesis is yet to be confirmed. Also, Pluto's thin atmosphere is mainly dominated by nitrogen gas and some small amounts of carbon monoxide and the greenhouse gas methane. Subsequent research around this nitrogen heart phenomenon suggests that the cycle makes Pluto's atmosphere circulate in the opposite direction of its spin. This strange occurrence is known as retrorotation. Closer to Pluto, its nitrogen ice is confined within the Tombaugh Regio. The air on Pluto is 100,000 times thinner than that on Earth. Scientists were keen to understand how it might shape the features on the surface. With the help of data from the New Horizons flyby mission, they were able to recreate Pluto's topography and its blanket of nitrogen ice. Consequently, they put this data in a weather forecast computer model to simulate the nitrogen cycle on the dwarf planet and also to assess how winds blew across its surface. The results show that Pluto's winds above 4 kilometers, or 2.5 miles, blow to the west. Interestingly, this is the opposite direction from the dwarf planet's eastward spin. Pluto is believed to be the only region in the solar system with such a phenomenon. Pluto has an incredibly high and weird axial tilt. Its axis of rotation is tilted at an angle of around 122 degrees from its orbital plane. Scientists believe that this is why the density of this small icy world is tripled over the past 3 decades, despite its enormous distance from the Sun, which is constantly increasing. Aside from its weird orbit, Pluto has other distinctive features that separate it from other dwarf planets and celestial objects. Pluto's moon system, despite losing its status as a planet, Pluto retained its satellites. So far, the dwarf planet has 5 moons of varying sizes rotating strangely around its orbit. They include Charon, Styx, Nix, Kerberos, and Hydra. Charon is the largest of the lot, measuring 1,200 kilometers, 700 miles, in diameter, which is almost half the size of the dwarf planet itself. Pluto and Charon are locked in a weird relationship that sees both objects separated by approximately 20,000 kilometers. For perspective, this is less than the flight distance between London and Sydney. Charon takes about 6.4 Earth days to orbit Pluto. Coincidentally, that's about the same time it takes Pluto to complete one full rotation. This means that both Charon and Pluto are tidally locked to each other. In 2005, the Hubble Space Telescope captured 2 other moons around Pluto named Nix and Hydra. These 2 are much smaller than Charon, with a diameter of 42 kilometers and 55 kilometers, respectively. They're about 2 to 3 times further away from Pluto than Charon. The Hubble Space Telescope also helped to discover Pluto's 4th moon, Kerberos, in 2011. 1 year later, a 5th moon was found in Pluto's orbit. This irregularly shaped satellite was named Styx after the Greek mythological river that separates the living from the dead. Further adding to the fairy tale disposition of the icebound dwarf planet, scientists believe that there are more satellites and mysteries yet to be unraveled on Pluto. At the same time, there is a strong sense of optimism that many of them will be solved and revealed in the not-too-distant future. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos like this one. And we hope to learn more about it in the future. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe if you are new here. Also, press the bell icon if you want to see more interesting videos of our space. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, keep looking up to the stars. This is Envision Space, signing off.